The College Baseball Experience May 23rd College Baseball Picks on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Edge Boost, the bank account that is built for bettors. Sign up today at edgeboost.bet with the promo code SGPN and get a $25 deposit bonus. Welcome back into the College Baseball Experience. What's going on, everybody? My name is Noah Bieniek. And going live once again at 8 Eastern today. Last night, I was doing a little bit of a bracketology projection with 11.7 that honestly we did not necessarily love the result of it. I don't even know if it's going to come out today. But last night, I was talking with my guy, Johnny, who joins me today. And he was texting me. He was like, yo, I saw you go live this morning. If you do morning shows, I'm available for Friday if you want to hop on and shoot the shit. So Johnny Venezia is joining me today. Johnny VTV, what's going on, my man? How has the conference tournament week treated you so far?
Noah B, baby. You know what, man? It's been good so far. I think the conference tournament it's a nice appetizer to what we're going to see in the month of June. Obviously, in the conference tournaments, most of these teams have faced each other throughout the regular season, so there's a lot of familiarity. And, you know, in the case of, you know, certain pitchers already knowing the lineups that they're going to see, it's definitely provided a lot of interesting fuck you. Fuck you. Bro, it's allergy season up here. You got to see the pollen that's coming around.
Dr. Octagon saying
I've been dying.
In the building, baby.
I've been dying with the fucking allergies. But in any case, I think in this particular week, it's the microcosm of we're going to see a lot of these upsets. And that's ultimately what's going to be happening in June. So it's very intriguing to take some of these underdogs. And, you know, listen, I think this has been a great weekend and looking forward to closing out strong. We got a couple of future tickets live.
There we go. Yeah, I've got a big dog coming up in today's show that everybody's going to want to stick around until the end for because it's one of the last games of the day. And I can tell that Johnny's been watching a lot of ACC because there's been a boatload of upsets in that conference tournament, whereas the Big 12, we've got all chalk, all top four seeds in the semifinals. We're not going to waste any time here because I want to get this thing up on podcast platforms before a lot of the big games first pitch around like 3 p.m. Eastern. A lot of the games that begin this morning don't have betting odds. And honestly, like 3 or 4 games into some of the mid-major conference tournaments, projecting pitchers is very, very tough. And yeah, with 2 voices on the show, we're just going to focus on the 12 big matchups that we do have currently betting odds for on DK. MGM's got some odds for us at 8 a.m. as well. In game number 1, real quick, it's Washington and USC. The Huskies are plus 250, USC minus 345. Didn't find pitchers on either team for what it's worth. USC needs this game for their resume because right now they're probably a last 4 in type of team. Caden Aoki pitched great yesterday, although they lose a 2-1 ball game to Penn State. So it's probably Caden Harris, maybe like an Andrew Johnson if he didn't throw yesterday. But I didn't watch that game. I was busy napping early in the day. And then Washington, you know, with the season being over, most likely they're not getting an at-large bid. This is a very tough projection to see where they would go. You either typically see 2 routes. It's the senior that's going to go out there and throw his last game of his career, or it's a freshman that the coaching staff wants to see for years forward in their program. And minus 345 plus 250, not very actionable. Johnny, any other thoughts on this game before we move on?
Nah, you know, I think considering what we're looking at this early in the morning, you know, 2 West Coast teams duking it out early. The pitching matchup's interesting. I mean, I would have looked for a Max Bank spot, but obviously the line wouldn't have been plus 250 at that price. But, you know, regardless, I wouldn't put USC in a parlay in the spot. I wouldn't run line them. I don't really think there's anything I'm dying to bet here, and anything that I did would just be forced.
Yeah, Max Banks threw against Penn State, where the Huskies did drop that first game in Big Ten pool play. So you got 2 0-1 teams fighting for bragging rights, honestly. The next game that we're going to talk about here on the slate is Florida Atlantic and UTSA. This is a loser's bracket game in the American Athletic Conference. Tulane goes and knocks off the Roadrunners as they are just on an absolute roll in the AAC tournament since 2023. They've won 2 straight AAC tournaments there. The money line on UTSA is minus 210, FAU plus 160, total of 13.5. The run line's actually kind of favorable, bettable. I mean, UTSA minus 1.5 is minus 125, FAU plus 1.5, minus 105. The arms here, again, TBAs for both, but I do have a feeling that we'll see Tyler Murphy of FAU and UTSA's Connor Miles. We've seen both of these teams follow what their previous weekend's rotation was. So if that holds, it would be Tyler Murphy for the Owls. He's 4-3 on the year, 5.25 ERA in 60 innings with 49 strikeouts, 19 walks, a 3.97 ERA. Sierra. Opponents are hitting 3.04 against him, and he has a 9.93 ERA in his last 3 appearances. So he gets hit. He gets hit hard, and he's not really in great form recently. Connor Miles hasn't pitched great either in his last 5 starts. It's a 6.05 ERA. But on the season, he's 5-1 with a 4.79 to 62 innings pitched, 55 strikeouts, 20 walks, a 4 Sierra. Johnny, I am on the UTSA side of things here. FAU was one of my longer shots that I thought, hey, I could see them possibly making a run. But I just think it's a tough matchup. I think UTSA's got the better arm here. This is probably an over 13.5 look is my favorite kind of pick in the game. But overall, I'm not really going to bet anything here. Johnny, your thoughts?
Yeah, I have nothing here. I think Florida Atlantic is a flawed team. They have talent. Trey Beard is a stud. Tulane, real quick, let's give a shout out to our boy Ben Upton in our group chat yesterday. I think the sports books hung a wrong number between UTSA and Tulane, where they had UTSA plus 300 or bigger, and that quickly got flipped. And Ben's like, it doesn't matter. I still like Tulane plus 3.5 and plus 375 on the money line, whatever they were. So, shout out to Ben there. I think in this particular case, man, like FAU, they've got some talent, but I just don't think overall they're a good enough team to be running with UTSA in this situation. The only question is the motivation of UTSA. Like, they're good. They're in. There's nothing that good or bad, whatever they do, is going to impact their status for next weekend. So that's why ultimately I'm going to just stay away from it. If I had to bet, I'd probably throw UTSA maybe in a parlay, but it's not a confident look because UTSA might just be throwing a couple guys that they want to see what they have for next weekend. If they get into the depths of a Sunday or Monday game, they need to see if they can rely on somebody. So that might end up be what happens. So that's why I'm just staying away.
Yeah, if you're casually just tuning in and you hear Johnny talking about motivation in a conference tournament, and you're like, how are they not going to be motivated for this game? Well, the UTSA did not submit a bid to host a regional. So albeit they're kind of on that hosting bubble, if they know that they're not hosting, then there's not really anything for them to improve their case, improve their seeding than a 2 seed right now which is what they're currently slated to be. Shout out to K Britt tipping $5 saying yesterday was the first time he caught the baseball show live and he hit a 10-leg parlay. That is awesome to hear, Britt. Congrats. That's great cash. I appreciate the kickback, but man, you placed the bet. That's what we always say here is like, you still have to fire. So shout out to you. It's been a pretty good run so far of conference tournaments. We still got 3 more days to go. Should be loads of fun coming up here. Travis Loveland saying he live bet Tennessee yesterday.
There you go, Travis.
Yeah, their bats came alive late in that one. The next game here, we'll get to the fun ones, but those are all kind of later on in the day when we get to the matinee kind of marquee matchups and television time slots. Florida International and Kennesaw State are going to do battle in the Conference USA losers bracket here. Currently, we have FIU minus 110 and the other Owls minus 120, total at 13 for this game. TBAs for both. This is really interesting, too, for Florida International. So today is Friday. This is your typical ace day. Easton Marks could throw for FIU. He hasn't pitched in either of the team's first two games. He exited it after only 15 pitches in last Thursday's game. So he could be hurt. That's something that we should keep our eye on. Social media team graphics, whenever they post them, their starting lineup like an hour before the game. That's typically the best way to find confirmation on that. And for Kennesaw State, it's another TBA. It's either Ryan Gold or Smith Pinson. Both of those guys have been bulk arms for the season. Smith Pinson's their game 3 starter. They've already thrown their games 1 and 2 starters in the first 2 games. Of course, that makes sense. But Smith Pinson, I believe, through Saturday. Not sure if they're going to push him up a day, but it would either be him or Ryan Gold. But I don't have a whole lot more to add. FIU has been, I guess, feisty as of late. But yeah, I would probably take the Panthers and an over in this spot just because not sure about any of the pitching. Johnny, anything you want to add before we move on to the next game?
I actually have Kennesaw State to win the conference tournament here, 12-1, and actually it's still 12-1. There was a half unit play that I gave out. Kennesaw State's interesting. I only thought so because I thought Dallas Baptist might be looking to win a couple games and be out. And, not for nothing, even if that's not the case, I didn't like their price enough. I mean, I thought Western Kentucky was going to be like the popular pick outside of DBU. And, Western Kentucky's really played with fire these first couple games and had to pull off some late game heroics in order to keep moving on, which they have. But Kennesaw State, man, this is their time. They need to get even against FIU from the game 1 loss. This is the elimination game, so they need this one. I'm not going to bet this one because I already have the future in line, but I like Kennesaw State to get this one done.
All right. San Jose State and San Diego State play each other in Las Vegas in the Mountain West Conference tournament here. This is actually Mesa, Arizona. I don't know why I was thinking Las Vegas. That's WCC, I believe. But anyways, do have pitchers for this. It's officially TBA, but they should follow their weekend rotation as they've thrown their first 2 guys here. SP3s for both squads. Actually, both lineups are well below average. You might be thinking, I could go under 13.5. Well, let's meet the pitchers. Omar Serrano, 4-6 on the year, 7.86 ERA and 81.1 innings, 66 strikeouts. Opponents are hitting 325 against him, and he's got 35 walks. In his last 4 starts, it's a 10.04 ERA. And then David Thomas is who I would project for San Jose State. He's 1-5 on the year with a 6.28 ERA and 67.1 innings. He's only got 44 strikeouts in those 67 innings, and opponents are hitting 324 against him. In his last 4 starts, it's a 10.80 ERA. So knowing all of that, Johnny, are you interested at all in an over 13.5 with both of these offenses really kind of lacking a punch, but they are playing at elevation against poor pitchers?
So, the funny thing is, do the books know this? You know what I'm saying? Because there's not pitchers listed, and this is really where somebody like you that follows these programs a little bit more than most people would have an advantage. So there's only a handful of people that really get into the weeds on a matchup like this. So I think this provides an advantage for somebody like you, because the sports books, there's just no way that they're in on this, because you really got to dig deep in order to find a pitcher who's going to go. And even still, it's not definitive. That's just using context clues. It's hard to make a line off just context clues with nothing definitive. They do it, but it's hard to. So in this situation here, 13.5 feels like it should probably be at least 15.5. Elevation, two bad pitchers going. I think the over is a good look here. But you know what's crazy? This is probably going to be like these two pitchers go, and it's going to be like a 6-4 game, just a fucking pitcher's duel. But I guess it's nothing official, but lean wise, I think the over is a good play here between two guys that have just been getting battered without mercy in 2025.
My pick would be the Spartans too. It seems like that the first game against UNLV, they were able to put up quite a few runs against the Rebels, and then yesterday they got shoved in the locker by Nevada. So actually, San Diego State was shoved in the locker by Nevada. San Jose State lost to. Gosh, I can't even think of it off the top of my head. I'm blanking. I'm tired. I need to get a nap before all these games come in to play. Before we get to the big games of the slate, just a reminder, because SGPN store right now is running a promo, 20% off of everything. Go over there, use the promo code DEGENS to get 20% off of everything. The college baseball experience line, the college experience line in general. We've got hats, shirts, anything that you could possibly be interested in over there on the SGPN store. And the college baseball experience is also brought to you by Edge Boost. It is the first ever bank account that is built for bettors, ensuring that all gambling transactions are approved. No usage fees, no minimums. You can earn cashback rewards. You can get a 100% approval for all betting deposits as well. Go over there and sign up today at edgeboost.bet. Promo code SGPN. Deposit $25 and Edge Boost will match that deposit. That is edgeboost.bet, promo code SGPN. And SGPN is also partnered up with Underdog Fantasy because Underdog is going long on their pick'em platform for NBA playoffs with their extender bonus. Hop in game one, and the longer that the series goes, the bigger that the bonus gets. Sign up today with the promo code TCE SGPN to claim your special pick, plus first-time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus credits. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code TCE SGPN. And we're back here on the college baseball experience. We're going through and picking a lot of the games that are happening on May 23rd of the college baseball slate. It's myself, Noah Bieniek, joined alongside the one and only Johnny Television. And we're going to jump into the first of a couple of Power 4 games that we're going to see to play today. Duke and Florida State down there in Durham in the ACC tournament. The Blue Devils are plus 135. Florida State's minus 175. The total we have is 11. Let me display that on the screen real quick. And you can currently get FSU minus 1.5 and minus 110, Duke minus 120, plus 1.5. Officially TBA for both squads, but pretty good feeling that they'll both be throwing their typical game one starters because this is a Friday. So for Duke, that would be Owen Prosh and then kind of like a bullpen strategy game when they were playing matchups anywhere in that Florida State lineup. Prosh on the season's got a 2-2 record, 4.21 ERA and 51.1 innings, 72 strikeouts, 21 walks with a 2.01 batting average against. And Florida State, they'll be throwing one of the better arms in this Atlantic Coast Conference, and that's Jamie Arnold. 6-2 on the season, 2.59 ERA in 66 innings with 90 strikeouts, just 23 walks. Opponents are hitting below 200 against him. Arnold, he's looking for a bounce back because, he had a rough start against UNC, kind of got knocked around by the Tar Heels there a little bit. But in his previous 5 starts to that North Carolina game, it was a 1.42 ERA, whereas Prosh in his last 4 starts, he's allowed 14 earned runs in 18 innings. So one guy that, looking for a bounce back, and he's been a quality arm down the stretch, and another that's been scuttling late. I think that Florida State definitely has the starting pitcher advantage. I totally understand that. I still kind of believe that Duke's bats could be able to play well, and they're sleeping in their own beds this entire week. I think Duke's got a chance to win this thing. I would stay under that 11 for what it's worth. Johnny, your thoughts on the matchup?
Dude, I'm surprised you didn't even say what it took for Duke to win that game, that 4-3 matchup against Pitt the other day. They had to use 9 different arms to get it
Well,
done. 9.
yeah, they're just bullpenning.
That is a signature Chris Pollard Duke angle in order to win a ball game. It's very interesting, but Owen Prosh is good to go. He has had some good starts recently. It's been a couple, less than stellar, but it's been some good ones. So I understand where you're coming from. I do, because we saw Duke get a little frisky last year in this tournament, right? And I think they always find a way to have this pitching step up, and Prosh is a guy that can definitely do some damage. Their offense has been solid overall, I would say. The one thing is what happens late in the game. Can Florida State's offense create enough separation against Duke? Because if they don't, the bullpen is really where it shifts in favor of Duke. So if this game is, say, tied like 3-3 going into the 7th inning or the 8th inning, that's a significant advantage in favor of the Blue Devils, because this Florida State bullpen is garbage. It's not good. So I think this is a tough cap for me, but ultimately I like Florida State. That's how I programmed this semifinals matchup being with UNC against the Seminoles. I think Jaime Arnold is going to be on the right side here of a bounce back. And, listen, man, I know you're a big Duke team. I'm kind of waiting on the shoe to drop for them. I
don't necessarily love them, but I like the fact that they trust multiple pitchers in a tournament scenario. So I don't think they'll be afraid to pull the plug on a guy early. So
it's hard to say it, but listen, I'm taking the 175 with Jamie Arnold, the best pitcher in the country, the next Chris Sale. I think listen, and you know what? Listen, here's the thing. If Duke comes in and they beat them plus money, tip of the cap. The thing is, I understand this is still a home game for Duke, technically, but this is a situation where you just have to go with the best pitcher, and you got to live with it one way or the other, And 175 is not a bad price for getting the best pitcher in the country. So I like Florida State here.
Yeah, it's not a bad look at all. And you have to have that mentality. You're going with the starting pitcher advantage, and if you get beat, you tip your cap to an offense that has to put up probably 6 or 7 runs in order to beat the Noles, and that just hasn't happened very often this season against a guy like Jamie Arnold. Gonzaga and San Diego is the next matchup that we're going to move to here. These are the 1 and 2 seeds in the WCC, and they're in the losers bracket. This is an elimination game for the 2 best teams in this conference all season long. Gonzaga gives up 15 runs in their first game. San Diego gets upset in their first game by Loyola Marymount. The Toreros are minus 154 in this matchup. Gonzaga plus 120. The total is a whopping 17.5. For Gonzaga, Miles Gastola is the name that I picked out. Again, TBAs for both teams, but Gastola has been their game 3 starter for much of the season. They tossed their first 2 starters in that first game to try to be able to win that, almost the entire kitchen sink they threw at St. Mary's there. So Gastola on the year, 5-7, 5.79 ERA in 74.2 innings. He's got 72 strikeouts, 28 walks, a 390 Sierra. Opponents are hitting over 300 against him. And then Porter Rovin is the name for San Diego. He's been their game 2 guy for much of the season. 5.48 ERA in 44.1 innings, 37 strikeouts, 13 walks. Rovin has been good his last 4 starts. It's a 3.60 ERA compared to Gastola for Gonzaga. It's a 7.55 ERA. One of those starts in that 3-game sample was against San Diego. The Toreros went into Spokane and knocked off Gonzaga 2 of 3. That would be where I point you in this matchup, is the Toreros minus 154. I would probably go with the under 17.5 here. Johnny, your opinions on Gonzaga San Diego. You were laughing early when I was bringing up the game.
No, I was laughing earlier because I was like, oh, 17 and a half. It's just, it's nuts. We're not even on like conference championship Sunday where, these teams are running out their like eighth string starters. It's Friday. It's Friday morning. 17 and a half. That's wild. But I like San Diego here. San Diego's been the best team in their conference all year for a reason. It's quite bizarre that they're 4 games under 500, but they have 19 conference wins. I think that is a walking anomaly of a stat. But San Diego, man, they've had a journey this year. They were like 0 for the century for the first couple of weeks, and then they turned it around. Conference play came, and they ran through it. And you got to give them a lot of credit. I don't think San Diego's that good of a team, but when they're facing this level of competition, I think they're the best against this type of competition. So give me the Toreros. 154 seems like a fair price. It doesn't seem like anything more than pretty much a wash at starting pitcher today. And give me the San Diego Bats to edge it out.
Our next matchup is in the SEC tournament where we will see Ole Miss play Arkansas. The Rebels are plus 180, Arkansas minus 238. Total here is 10.5 runs. Starting on the mound for the Rebs is Riley Maddox. He's 5-5 on the year with a 5.46 ERA and 59.1 innings, 60 strikeouts, 25 walks with a 3.76 Sierra. And also in the game write-up is Zach Root going for Arkansas. No surprise here either. 6-4 on the year with a 4.16 ERA, 75.2 innings pitched, 102 strikeouts, 26 walks, a 2.49 Sierra. He was tagged by Ole Miss earlier this season. I believe it was his first SEC start. He allowed 10 hits, 7 earned in just 3 innings. But in his last 3 starts, he's been really good, a 3.07 ERA. Whereas Maddox, in that game against Arkansas earlier this season, 3 earned runs in 4 innings. And in his last 3 starts, he's been a little bit more out of form than Root, 5.79 ERA in that span. I think Arkansas is ready to go. This is a team that's playing their first game down in Hoover, an offense that is ready to fire on all cylinders. And I really like the Hogs here in this matchup. Minus 235 and 238 is a bit rich for my blood, but I could see this one like possibly sneaking over the 10.5. I'm not very confident in that pick either yet. I promise my bets are coming later on in the show, but still not really pulling the trigger on this matchup either. Johnny, do you have anything other than that from Ole Miss Arkansas?
Ooh, sorry, it's my alarm. I wake up to Closer by the Chainsmokers every morning, so that's my alarm.
There you go.
That's
Johnny on the show.
That's my song. Arkansas money line in a parlay. I think that's strong today. I'll be honest with you. I don't think Ole Miss is dead here by any stretch. I think the 180 is a little startling. I understand you're going against Zach Root. Arkansas is completely 100% fresh. But Ole Miss, man, I mean, they only played 1 game. Hunter Elliott threw a gem against Florida, a red-hot Gators team, so give him his flowers. Riley Maddox, I don't think has been as bad as his bottom line would appear. Ole Miss is a feisty team. So while part of me wants to be like, hey, let's take the run line with Arkansas here, minus 1.5 as the home team, I could definitely see this one being like a 5-4 type of game. That being said, I think because you got Zach Root and all the bullpen pieces and Arkansas is chomping at the bit here to get on the field, I think they're going to take care of business today. So put Arkansas in a parlay. I don't hate it with a Florida State. Maybe that way you could avoid some of the heavier VIGs, but you're getting the advantage pitchers in both matchups. If you want to do a little parlay, you're going to get that at plus 123 over on DraftKings. So Arkansas, that's how I would attack that matchup.
Yeah, I remember in college I would wake up to a ringtone. But yeah, I
what was it?
More. So I went to school in Pittsburgh. For the context, I woke up to Donald Trump by Mac Miller. Yeah,
That's a banger, dude. That's a banger. That's a banger. Yeah, that shit. That was my shit in high school. Like, what was it 20? That was like 2010. What were you doing in 2010?
Elementary school.
How old were you in 2010?
10, 9, 9.
9.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, man.
God damn, dude. I was like 17.
Yep. But yeah, that was constantly on. He was. It's like Mac Miller, Wiz Khalifa, like all the Pittsburgh rappers and all that. But
that was a hot era, bro. It was a hot era in music, especially in Pittsburgh in like the early 2010s. Definitely.
Yeah. Arkansas. That would be the pick here for a lot of the reasons Johnny mentioned. It's a fresh pen and one of the best offenses in the country. You got to roll with them in their first game and over, I believe. Old Dominion and Troy, real quick. Not really a bettable line here on Troy minus 280. Old Dominion, I did call for them to be live in that first game, and they actually knocked off Troy. TBAs on both, and it's a really hard projection. One, because Troy's got plenty of injuries in that weekend rotation. It could be Noah Edders, and then like he's been an opener recently for Grayson Stewart, who's given him some bulk innings, but he's really only 2 or 3 innings long. And then for Old Dominion, their game 3 starter for much of the year has been Ben Moore, but again, not really too confident in that one being the projection there because I don't remember the reason I didn't write it down, but Old Dominion again would kind of be my pick here. They were a team that I was relatively high on early in the season. I just thought they were much better than kind of what they were playing like. But I'm pulling for Troy. The bubble is really, really weak. But minus 280, I just can't jump on that. And I don't want to lay 2.5 with the Trojans either because their offense hasn't done anything yet. They've put up 4 total runs in the Sun Belt tournament so far. So not really, too attractive there. Johnny, any additional thoughts before we move on from ODU in Troy?
Yeah, I don't even care who the pitchers are because Troy has not been playing that good at baseball. And the fact is this is their third game of the weekend, so they're running out of pitching anyhow. I think it's a blind Old Dominion bet. I'm not going to play it; it's not official. But Old Dominion on the money line or Old Dominion on the run line, I think there is some good value there. I think Troy's getting this number off just name brand. Old Dominion's played a little feisty. Yeah, fuck yeah, it was. You better believe it. You better believe I was hitting Jay Shore before, bro. I was hitting Jay Shore in the 90s, kid. Come on. I was going to Seaside before it was fashionable. No, I'm kidding. It's been fashionable since like the 70s. But yeah, I think this is Old Dominion spot. I'm rooting for Old Dominion personally because I want Troy to get knocked out because I need to make sure my UVA Cavaliers are getting in and any little edge helps. But regardless, I don't see how this could be Troy minus 280. There's no significant pitching advantage. They haven't been playing good baseball, and you're laying 2.5 runs. I think Old Dominion at the bare minimum is worth a plus 2.5 look here. So I think this should be closer to Troy, maybe like minus 160.
Very fair. I think I actually agree with you on that. Plus 2.5 is.
You think you agree?
Yeah, no, plus 2.5. I think I'm going to add that as a bet. Minus 120. Thank you for talking me into that, Johnny. I'll write that down here before we move on from the game. On the flip side, it's the marquee ones, the late night caps and a lot of the conference tournaments. But real quick, Rhythm right now is your home for AI-backed picks and props. You can dominate the NBA playoffs, PGA, MLB, and they also just launched a WNBA product as well. Rhythm knows that you're going to love it, so that's why they're including a 7-day free trial. Rhythm has some amazing deals going on right now, 25% off a monthly subscription with the promo code SGPN25, and you can also get a 50% off annual subscription with promo code SGPN50. That is Rhythm, spelled RITHMM, promo code SGPN25 or SGPN50, where you can get your 7-day free trial today at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. And SGPN is also partnered up with Circa Resort and Casino in Las Vegas. They are giving away the ultimate fantasy football experience for a 12-person league to draft in Las Vegas and be treated like VIPs during your stay. The winner will receive a 2-night stay at Circa Resort and Casino for the entire 12-person league. That is 6 double king rooms. You'll be able to hold your draft at a cabana at Stadium Swim with a $5,000 food and beverage credit, limo transportation to and from the airport, a welcome party when you arrive at the Legacy Club for the league, a reservation at the world's largest sportsbook with $500 beverage credit for the league, a 2-hour open bar package as well for the league at Overhang Bar. The contest duration runs from May 5th to June 30th. Go over to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/circa to enter today. That is sportsgamblingpodcast.com/CIRCA. And hey, if you win it and you go out there with your league mates, enter the Circa Millions too. They just launched their, their intro to the contest, and now you can sign up for Circa Millions and Circa Survivor. And SGPN is also brought to you by MyBookie.ag. MyBookie is your place to bet on every sport, including the NBA playoffs. For the true Degens, the MyBookie money bag is also there available for you. MyBookie accepts customers from a ton of different locations. It's easy to deposit, and you can get lightning fast payouts using crypto as well. Head over to MyBookie.ag, promo code TCE SGPN for a 100% deposit match up to $1,000. Terms and conditions apply. That is MyBookie.ag, promo code TCE SGPN. And we are back here on the College Baseball Experience. Myself, Noah Bieniek, and Johnny Venezia has joined me today. We are doing this live at 8:30 in the morning. Thank you all, the 500 that have tuned in across multiple platforms. I know Twitter's algorithm kind of skews that a little bit, but we've got a good crowd once again. And we're running through the May 23rd college baseball games. And we've got the big ones coming up here. In the Big 12 tournament, Arizona plays West Virginia, and West Virginia is minus 180. Arizona plus 140. The total is 10.5. I said 7, but it's 10.5 on DraftKings. You could find a 7.5 on a different platform earlier today, but I am willing to bet that is no longer there after.
Let me check. Let me confirm.
And then shout out to the one and only.
Gone.
shout out to one and only Quentin Mills, who alerted both of us on that as
Good
well.
job, Q. Good job.
Great job. So what is it at right now? Did you
10.5. 10.5. I'm like somebody's got to be wrong, and I think that the book that's wrong is the one that's putting 7.5 in this game.
Yeah, I completely misspoke. I wasn't even going to bring that up, honestly, because I was not counting on it being there. But yeah, they got hit pretty hard.
I don't even think it got hit. I mean, it probably got hit, but I think they realized the gap. I think they picked up on that.
West Virginia and Arizona do have pitchers that are confirmed via the Arizona game notes. It's Raul Garezar, who's kind of stepped into the weekend rotation in the last couple of weeks for the Wildcats. He's got a 2.45 ERA in 47.2 innings, 39 strikeouts, 13 walks with a 3.65 SIERA. He's been kind of like a long reliever for them for most of the year. In his last 4 appearances, it's a 1.35 ERA. And then for West Virginia, it's Jack Cartsonas. He's 6-2 on the season with a 2.29 ERA in 55 innings, 63 strikeouts, 13 walks with a 2.69 SIERA. And opponents are hitting just 2.26 against him. And he has in the last 6 starts for him, he's got a 1.65 ERA. I think both of these guys are in really good form. This is going to be a game where runs are going to be at a premium. I think they'll be able to score more than 7.5 runs. But do I think they're going to be able to score 10.5? Not really. I think this is probably an under as my favorite play in this matchup. But yesterday, it needs to be noted, West Virginia's Griffin Kern did a great Derek Clark impression. Complete game, let the bullpen have, just another day of not really being taxed at all. So West Virginia could go Johnny Holstaff in this matchup against Arizona, which I think really benefits them. I'm on the Mountaineers in this game, but I like that under 10.5 quite a bit. Johnny, your favorite play in this matchup? I know we were talking about this one quite a bit before the show.
So coming into the tournament, I had Arizona 8-1 to win the conference. And, I knew this would probably be the path that they would have to go through. But I think if they get through that, if they get through this game today, Arizona's going to be in really good shape going into tomorrow. Because I have the Arizona play, I don't think I'm going to bet it because it doesn't make sense. Like I already have an 8-1 on the Wildcats, so there's no reason me to bet this plus 140. The only thing I'm thinking about in order to hedge the ticket maybe is take West Virginia at like plus 250 or whatever they're at. Yeah, bro, the Karma days, man. I'm a DJ's guy. DJ's in Belmore. That's my spot. But in any case, I got to stay with the original cap, man. I had Arizona to win it, and I knew that the West Virginia path was going to have to happen. So I'm going with Arizona. I think the fact that they're not facing a lefty today is a big up because we know they're much better against righties than lefties. Give me the Wildcats, man. Let's see the Mountaineers make a critical mistake late in the game that costs them.
All right. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of happened in some of their bigger matchups, so you're not talking out of your ass with a possible late mistake. West Virginia did lose 2 of 3 in Morgantown earlier this year. It's a very valid pick there. Talk about valid, maybe not so valid. North Carolina's minus 520 in the nightcap matchup in the ACC tournament against Boston College, who is plus 350 here. Total of 10.5, minus 3.5 on UNC's minus 115. Boston College plus 3.5, minus 115. Jack Burnham is who I project to get the ball for Boston College. This is officially a TBA, but Burnham did start a game last weekend, and he's kind of the last starting pitcher that they haven't thrown yet in the ACC tournament. They've won, 2 games in a row, and to get here, that's impressive. And now they're kind of at a little bit of a mismatch because North Carolina is totally fresh. Burnham on the season is a 6.08 ERA and 23.2 innings, just 16 walks, 16 strikeouts, 8 walks, a 3.13 batting average against him. In his last 5 appearances, it's a 7.55 ERA. For North Carolina, it's Jake Knapp, who is 11-0 on the year, 2.14 ERA, 80 innings pitched, 74 strikeouts, 13 walks, 3.05 Sierra, 187 batting average against in his last 3 starts. It's a 2.70 ERA. Just the way that North Carolina has been playing really recently down the stretch, honestly, outside of their first 2 ACC series losses, outside of that, they've been really, really good, especially in their first game of the series. They've put up plenty of runs. So I don't know really kind of what the trend could be there outside of, they're facing aces for the most part, and they jump out quick to begin the entire weekend. I think you could see the same thing from North Carolina here today. A 10.5 is a little low for me. I know Knapp is on the bump for UNC, but North Carolina, BC's been feisty. They're going to put some pressure on the defense for sure. I think you can account for 1, 2, maybe 3 runs from BC, but North Carolina has done damage in game 1s the last couple of weeks. I think I like the over in Boston College, North Carolina. Haven't pulled the trigger on this one yet. Johnny, I'm curious your thoughts. I'm not jumping at the bit to take UNC minus 3.5 nor 520 on the money line. So the over 10.5 is probably my favorite spot.
If you're going to get involved in this game, I think that's kind of the only way to go. We could definitely see North Carolina put up 8-9 runs on their own, and Boston College put up a couple of runs. It's ridiculous. You're on fire today, Austin. On fire. We're riding out that UNC pre-tournament ticket plus 250. Part of me wanted to see if UNC would maybe save Knapp in what is probably the most optimal matchup that you can have to this point if you're the Diamond Heels, and throw maybe Jason DeCaro or Aiden Hawk. But I don't think UNC really cares about this tournament that much. They want to make sure they keep Knapp on regular rest, so completely understand it from that point. But the plus 250 is all I'm really concerned about for UNC. Honestly, I think what it would be ideal, instead of betting this matchup, you can still get UNC, I think, at plus 150 on Caesars to win the ACC tournament. I think I like that one better than involving anything in this particular game.
Here's one of my favorite bets of the day. Oregon, Nebraska in the Big Ten tournament, the nightcap in Omaha, the final game of pool play. These are great too, because the conferences get to plan what their final game of pool play will be. Last year, we saw an absolutely outstanding matchup between Wake Forest and North Carolina in the ACC tournament. This year, we'll see Oregon and Grayson Grinzel up against Nebraska and 10,000 fans in Charles Schwab Field. This place is going to be a madhouse. I like Nebraska money line against Oregon, the Ducks, their ace. I've called it from the get-go. I think Nebraska wins this pool. I think this place is going to be off the charts tonight. If you watched what Nebraska did to Jerwa, they just worked his count. They got him out in the 6th inning, and they got to that Michigan State bullpen. That fan base came alive. And if you saw like them get their second life, Parker Pico dropped a casual fly ball to right field, and just avalanche of game flow that just hit Michigan State right in the face, and Nebraska was able to win that thing. Grinzel, man, the handicap's not against Grinzel. I just think that Nebraska is going to be able to work his count, get him out of the game. Same type of game script like they had against Jerwa. Grinzel, his last 5 starts has been impeccable. It's a sub-1 ERA. On the season, he's 9-2 with a 2.33 ERA and 88.2 innings. He's got 93 strikeouts, 26 walks, 185 batting average against. He's not like the most powerful arm, though. Like, he's not going to blow you away with heat. So I do think that Nebraska could just be able to just foul off pitches left and right in this matchup. They did toss 3 starting pitchers in that matchup against Michigan State earlier. They do have 2 days of rest, but I don't know if any of them are going to throw in this game. It could be Jackson Brockett, who has been the Sunday starter, the Game 3 starter of the weekend for Nebraska the entire year. He's 3-3 with a 3.62 ERA, 54.2 innings on the season, 37 strikeouts, 19 walks. The Sierra is a little bit north of the ERA, though, quite a bit north, 4.58 there. So definitely due for some regression. This is an Oregon team that is super talented that very well could deal him some of that regression here. But I'm on the Nebraska money line. I can't explain it. I just think they get it done. Johnny,
sometimes
tell me how crazy I am.
You listen, hey, sometimes you got to go with your gut, and you see something that you can't really explain, but you just see it, even if nobody else sees it. So I understand where you're coming from, and I think there's a little something to your cap, because Nebraska is probably going to throw Brockett or Will Walsh, both of whom
Will Walsh
are
is Mr. Lefties.
Brockett confirmed starter, according to Dr. Octagon. Both of them are lefties, and we know how Oregon has dealt with lefties this year. Other than really Cade Obermueller, they really haven't hit lefties that well. So this could most certainly be an interesting spot. But let's remember something.
And against Obermueller too, the wind was blowing out, and they hit a grand slam into that, so it was kind of a little bit inflated.
Let's remember something. Jerwa threw a great game earlier this week. 6 innings, 2 earned. And it's not his fault that the kid dropped the fly ball. That's a routine fly ball that you make 99 out of 100. I would say I'm definitely not interested in Oregon in a parlay. I think 2.5 is – I could see Oregon come out a little – I don't want to say flat, but I could definitely see Oregon think they're coming in with their best pitcher, a guy who could very well have been the Big Ten pitcher of the year, a guy who's certainly been one of the top 10 arms in the country. I think they're just going to kind of coast behind him. So I don't think the Nebraska look is as crazy as it sounds on paper, but I'm not betting that with you. I still think Oregon. I think Oregon can edge it out. I think maybe Nebraska plus 2.5 in front of a home crowd. I think that's a very solid look. I'm not betting it because I took Oregon to win this conference tournament, and I think because you're the Ducks, I don't know if you're necessarily safe in the top 8 national seed conversation yet. I think you're there, but I don't think you're safe. I think Oregon knows they need to win this game and maybe at least get to the championship in order to say, hey, yeah, we got this top 8 locked up. So if I was playing anything, it'd probably be Nebraska plus 2.5, but nothing official.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, makes sense for sure. I don't really have a feel on the total. 10, I would probably go under here. Your thoughts, maybe?
I'd probably go under. I think I think the lower scoring this game is, the more it favors Nebraska, believe it or not, because their offense, it's not that good, but it's timely. So if they can have Walsh or Brockett match Grayson Grinzel, I think that ends up being more of an advantage for them. And the fact is, what if they piggyback Brockett and Walsh here? Maybe Brockett goes, say, 5 or 6, and then Walsh comes in for the difference.
Yeah.
And you're stacking lefties all day. Don't think Nebraska doesn't know Oregon stats against lefties this year. So that's definitely a possibility.
Yeah.
So I would probably say it stays lower scoring because I still think Grinzel goes out there, has one of his signature 6-inning, 1-run type of starts. So 10 seems even though it's a low number, I still think it's probably too high.
Yeah, I think you're onto something there too. Even Will Walsh, I wanted to say this earlier, he's Mr. Big Ten tournament. You go back to his previous 2 seasons with Nebraska, his best outings are in the Big Ten tournament. It's crazy. That guy's just been nails in the big moments for this team. And Case Sanderson's got to be the guy in that lineup that gets something done for the Cornhuskers if they're going to win this game. But yeah, I cannot wait to see the environment in Omaha Friday night. Texas A&M and LSU do battle here in the final semifinal, final quarterfinal game in the SEC tournament here. That's not what I wanted to do. Texas A&M is plus 220 on the money line. LSU's minus 298. The total is 9.5. LSU's minus 2.5, minus 115. Texas A&M plus 2.5, minus 115. Johnny, before we even get to the handicap of this game, your thoughts on Lava Boy? Unfortunately, he's out for the SEC tournament. There is hope that he will return even next weekend, as they were able to pop the knuckle back in his ring finger. It was initially reported by Michael Early, the head coach, that he had a broken hand, but now it seems like they've relocated the knuckle, and the recovery time is not as long as initially feared.
Carson Myers needs to be hanged for treason, thrown in prison for the rest of his life, never to see the light of day again. Because he did this, he almost did this a couple times, other than Lavalette. And there's a difference between throwing inside and what he was doing. I'm not saying it was intentional, but he was really trying to get close there. Maybe it was the lack of command that he had, but he kept going up and into the left-handed hitters quite a bunch and very close to their hands. So he needs to be buried under the jail. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, thrown into a dungeon forever. He needs to go. He's lucky he didn't end Lavalette's season. Hopefully, I think
he might have.
Well, here's the thing. It sucks because Lavalette's not going to play this game. And Texas A&M needs every game they can get. They probably have to win at least this game to have a legit consideration, because if they win this game, that's their 13th win in conference, and their RPI, which would be another top 8 win, they'd be under 50s. They'd be in the 40s, which is good for them.
I think they have 13 right now. It would be their 14th.
Do they have 13 or 12? Oh, no, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right. They had 11, and then they won 2. So I apologize. This would be their 14th win.
Just subtract 3, though, because they lost 3 to Missouri. So they're at 10.
So, they got to find a way to get past this game. So now you're not going to have Lavalette. You need Sorrell back. Like, what is Caden Sorrell doing? I know he hurt his hamate bone, but he wasn't in a cast. There was no break that was reported. So I don't know if he's going to be able to suit up today, especially since there's no Lavalette.
The hamate bones are tough, man. They're 6 weeks. Like,
I know. If you break them, though, did he break it or he just
I think he broke it.
He broke it?
Yeah.
Is that a fact or is that like
listening to Texags and Ryan Broniger, it sounded like it was a broken hamate.
There we go. That's good. Okay. I mean, listen, man, it's not good.
It's a season from hell for the Ags.
Yeah, it really is. Do they find a way to win? I don't know. I mean, you're going against Kate Anderson, fully fresh LSU team. Yeah. And LSU, for whatever reason, whatever nerds out there are like, well, they're questioning their top 8 national seed as the number 1 overall seed. Like, their national spot is being questioned. I've never heard of that. I've never heard of a number 1 team being questioned at this point for a top 8 seed, but here we are. And LSU's been projected as the 7th overall right now, which makes absolutely zero sense to me. So the Tigers have something to prove and something to play for. So I don't think they're going to be taking this game lightly. They're going to be sending out their guy, Kate Anderson, full, fresh allotment of bullpens. Like Arkansas, the Tigers are ready to chomp at the bit, and I can only hope. And this is somebody that has a little LSU to win the conference tournament ticket. And A&M can win this game. If A&M wins this game, then all they got to do is beat Arkansas or Ole Miss, and you're probably in the tournament. And whatever injury concerns you have, you deal with it when you get to next week. But I think LSU's going to win this game.
That's the hope. And I was able to hit the A&M money line yesterday. Not exactly how you would want to draw it up, but it did get across the finish line. But I don't necessarily think that the Aggie fans took too kindly of me jumping on the Aggie bandwagon. So I'm going to jump back off of it. I think they don't want me. And
where do you see that? Where's that coming from? Where's that coming from?
Twitter, my mentions. So, yeah, I think that they prefer me to be a hater, a doubter, and say that the team is buried because that's when they've gone on some runs. So, yeah, give me LSU.
So do that. Yeah, there you go.
That's what I'm doing. Give me LSU.
Kate Anderson. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to do the same thing. LSU.
Anderson in his last 4 starts has been great. It's a 2.46 ERA, 133 strikeouts in 83 innings. The Sierra is impeccable at a 136. And my boy Patton, too, Miles Patton, the Long Beach State transfer, his last 3 starts have not been great. He's kind of losing form a little bit down the stretch here. I would prefer him to have a great start, but no, I'm picking LSU. Secretly, I just want to see my guy and A&M do well, and but I think the Tigers win the game. The total, I think it stays under 9.5. The Aggies offense, I think the Aggies offense has really been lackluster lately, and sure, Laviolette has been bad against left-handed pitching. I still think that's been your most important bet, without Caden Sorrell. So I do think that's a hit to the offensive production in this game. I think it stays under 9.5. I think you're looking at more of a 5-2 ball game and a win for LSU. They cover that 2.5 for what it's worth, just off the top of my head. So Tigers minus 2.5, not terrible. Am I jumping in front of that Aggies train? No, not necessarily. Let's talk about my final bet of the night. In the Big 12 tournament is the nightcap down there in Arlington at Globe Life Field. Kansas and TCU. The Horned Frogs are minus 135 here, and the Jayhawks are plus 105. The total is 11.5, and you can get minus 1.5 on TCU at plus 114, plus 1.5 on Kansas at minus 145. I'm betting Kansas. Officially to TBAs for this matchup, but I have a good feeling that it's Cademan Parker for TCU because they threw Tommy Lepore yesterday. Parker's been the game 2 starter for much of the season. And for Kansas, I think it's going to be Cooper Moore. They threw Dom Vagley yesterday. Moore's been the number 2 and honestly the best starter in the rotation the entire year. First, why I'm fading TCU in the spot, Cademan Parker. And he's allowed 14 runs in his last 3 starts and only 8.1 innings. He didn't even get out of the second inning in one of those 2 starts, whereas Moore in his last 2 starts has been incredible. 16 innings, 18 strikeouts, just 4 earned. On the season, he's 7-1 with a 3.48 ERA and 77.2 innings, 73 strikeouts, just 16 walks. And yeah, Cademan Parker, he doesn't really miss a ton of bats. 272 batting average against in 48 innings. He's only got 33 strikeouts and he has 19 walks there with his 5.62 ERA on the full season. I think it's a great spot for Kansas lineup. We saw yesterday how it can pack a punch in some instances. They had a comeback victory over Oklahoma State that I was pretty impressed by, and I'm gonna fire on the Jayhawks here plus 105. I think that's a great price on Cooper Moore. I think it's wrong team favorite.
I do agree with you. I think Cademan Parker was the guy who was their Friday guy to start the year, and Lepore was the Saturday guy. I think it was injury, or maybe it was just poor performance that bumped Parker down. He missed some time, so I think it was injury, if I'm not mistaken. And Tommy Lepore is just doing so well, they slid him up. And you burn Tommy Lepore, and really the rest of the TCU pitching staff it's unreliable. I mean, after Lepore, you really don't have anything that you can bank on. I mean, there's talent, but it's not consistent and it's not reliable 100% of the time, or even, 80% of the time. TCU's offense also, it's not good enough to be. I've been downing TCU all year because I really don't think their offense is that good. So the fact is, if you don't have a guy that's a shutdown arm, you're likely going to need your offense to be giving you like 6, 7, or 8 runs. And listen, TCU can do that, but I think with Cooper Moore going, who's been the Kansas best starter, this is an opportunity for Kansas to get a little payback. TCU swept them during the regular season. I think the Jayhawks are going to get right here. And, their offense is pretty good. I mean, Brady Ballinger could have easily been the Big 12 player of the year. I mean, Carrington Cross for Cincinnati was great. Noah, we talked about this off air, but Ballinger, man, he always seems to come up with those big hits, man. He's so clutch. He's the leader of this Kansas offense. So I like Kansas plus money. The one thing that I'm curious about, Alex Breckheimer, the Kansas closer, he threw 2 2/3 yesterday to get the job done against OK State. So chances are is we're probably not going to see him today.
They used their best 2 bullpen arms for what it's worth yesterday.
So yeah, exactly. So that's maybe the only concern I have for Kansas, but I think they find a way to get it done. So give me the Jayhawks as well plus money.
Cooper Moore's thrown back-to-back games of 8 innings, so I'm willing to hop on that train with the Jayhawks there. So and hope that he is able to keep the bullpen kind of out of sticky situations for most of the game. That's going to conclude the show with the games that we currently have odds on. Plenty of good games. There's I wrote down 30 matchups that we would typically have betting odds for, but the books just haven't released them so far. 3 bets from me today. I like Old Dominion plus 2.5 at minus 120 there. And then Nebraska plus 250. That's the big dog. If you don't want to pull the trigger on the money line there, go with the under. I think runs will be at a premium in that matchup. And then Kansas plus 105 money line there. Johnny, anything that you want to part with to end the show? Your favorite player too, and let the good people know where they'll be able to find you as we've got postseason baseball coming up, my man.
Yeah, 100%. So I think, my slate's going to be light today in an effort to kind of conserve for the rest of the weekend, with write out some of the futures that I have. I mean, aside from that, I don't think the board is that great today. I think there's only a handful of, like maybe a few games that I'm really interested in. So I'll give you guys the Florida State Arkansas parlay. Zach Root, Jamie Arnold, lefty top seeded parlay there, plus 123. I think it's pretty solid. And you're getting two teams that should be able to advance to tomorrow.
All right. There we go. That's been this episode of the College Baseball Experience for Friday, May 23rd. Plenty of great games today. A lot of them kind of coming up in that, 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern range and beyond. Cannot wait. I'm going to get some shut-eye here for the next couple of hours, and I'll be on the bird live tweeting a lot of the games that I'm watching. I hope you all enjoyed. Johnny joining me and giving me some company. Highly appreciated. Thank you very much for your time, Johnny. And yeah, we will be, at least I will be here tomorrow. Shorter slate. I'll probably be able to get it wrapped up and probably 4 a.m. Get it out there for the people early enough on Saturday and Sunday-ish. Looking to do the same thing there with even less games than for Saturday. So the next time that you'll probably see Johnny and I, and you might even see Colby, is instant reaction show to bracket release, probably Monday night. So be on the lookout there. Keep your alerts on for your inbox, whether it be YouTube, where I want you to like this video, go over there, subscribe, or if it's podcast platforms, leave a like, rating, review, subscribe over there. Thank you very much. It's very appreciated. It helps out the show. It helps out the network, and it helps out us. You can follow Johnny on social media at _JohnnyVTV. You can follow me on social media at NoahB77 _. You can follow the show at TCE on SGPN. This has been the College Baseball Experience. You better start thinking about